This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Time now for the nationally syndicated radio show, The World of Laurie Zoock. And now, here she is, the smart, the sexy, the savvy, divine Miss C.
And welcome to today's show. Now, today is a Masters and Legends special, and I have with me Tony Wagner. He is a professional musician, an insurance agent, and a banker in the St. Pete area. He's had multiple successful careers. So welcome to the show, Tony.
Good afternoon, Laurie. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. Let's start a little bit, Tony, with your childhood. Tell me, where you're from.
I was born in the state of Indiana in a little town called Chesterton. So that's right on Lake Michigan, not too far from Chicago. You actually jump the South Shore train and be in Chicago in about 30 minutes.
All right. And how old were you when you started playing guitar and singing?
I was about around 12 or 13 years old, and I started messing around with my brother's acoustic guitar.
Okay. And do you play any other instruments besides guitar?
Well, I play harmonica and guitar, and then bass guitar and drums, but not so good. That's probably my weakest point right there, little drummer.
That's all right. I mean, did your family? You said your brother played. Did you come from a musical family?
You know what? My mother played accordion for a little while, so that I know that she did that. And but other than that, that was pretty much it. I just kind of picked up the guitar. But my brother played for a little while and set it down, and I had happened to stay home one day from school, and I was sick, and I picked the guitar and started messing around with it. And by the time he got home from school, I learned a Bob Seger song.
Oh wow!
And he just gave me the guitar after that. So I assumed he thought I was a natural.
That's right. Lee's asking me, which song was it?
That was Night Moves.
Night Moves. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty good. So you're pretty much self-taught. Did you take lessons?
Self-taught, but I also took lessons, throughout the years. And that, I learned how to read. But my ear got so good from playing over the years of just being a musician and, sitting in with other professional musicians that I really don't read anymore. If I hear something, I can tell you what key it's in, or I can just pretty much play by ear anymore.
Wow. Now, would you say you're a perfect pitch or high relative pitch?
Well, if you're asking me, I got to tell you what, I'm perfect pitch.
Okay. That's right.
But no.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people that are
perfect.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people that are perfect pitch that can just hear it and be able to just jump in right on that key and be able to play. I know I'm not perfect pitch, so you'd have to tell me what key you're playing in, and then I'd have to figure it out. So we're kind of opposite in that respect.
Well, you're quite a musician yourself there as well, piano player.
Well, thank you. Mine's more classical training, though. But, I did see a video of you, come to think of it, on YouTube when I was looking you up. And there is one of you, I think you're playing guitar and harmonica at the same time. Now, I know a lot of guitar players, but I know playing harmonica at the same time. That's quite a feat, no? I mean, that's something that, how do you do that? You're doing two different things at the same time.
It's like what's the old, you're chewing gum and patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time?
Right. I can do that, though. I can do that.
I can do that as well. You know what? I think with playing an acoustic guitar, it's a rhythm thing. So it's easier to play, the harmonica and a guitar at the same time because you're kind of in the same, the time signature. But playing bass guitar and a harmonica, that's going to be a little bit more challenging. I don't think I could pull that off.
Okay. Now, who are your musical inspirations? Were there famous people that inspired you, teachers that inspired you? You know what?
From the start, I'd have to say, on a professional level, it would have to be like Bob Seger, him. AC/DC was one of my favorite bands that inspired me. John Mellencamp, of course, being from Indiana, he was one of my favorite. And Jimmy Buffett.
Okay.
Love some Jimmy Buffett.
That's a good one. Now, you kind of tour all over. I remember you once telling me you play down in the Keys every year.
Yeah, I'll go down to Key West, and actually, I'll take my vacations down there. I know some local places down in Key West. Conch Republic down there, and then also Island Dog Bar on Front Street. They'll just hire me for a few days. I'll fly in with an acoustic guitar and play for a couple of days and pay for the vacation. So I do that probably twice a year.
Okay. And now where do you play out now?
Right now I play in my only steady gig now is Ricky T's on Treasure Island. I do a little happy hour thing there from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock on Mondays.
Okay.
In the back bar there. So.
And you also have a band called Sunburn?
Yeah, there's a band called Sunburn. It's a group of guys that I've been playing with for probably 12 years. And John Bosworth and Bela Wurtzler and Lowell Gilvin. We're just all good friends, and we're fortunate enough that we don't have to rehearse. So if somebody wants to play a gig, we just say, all right, you got to be here at this place at this time, and let's go play for a few hours. So, yeah, Sunburn's a band that kind of just a bunch of good old friends just playing music when we can.
Now, do you mostly play, music that's been already written, or do you do originals?
Yeah, both. I mean, in that band, it's all covers, but I mean, I write my own stuff, and I do that stuff. I play those songs solo, so I just play with a guitar, harmonica, or if a bass player or drummer shows up. But all my stuff that I write is played by myself.
Okay, well, tell me about those songs and maybe name some of the songs and what the inspiration was behind them, and discuss how you write songs, because that's something, young musicians over the years have asked me, how do you write a song? Is it the lyrics first? Is it the music? What is it that makes you do that? And is it usually a particular something in your head about something in particular that makes you come up with that song?
Well, that's a loaded
question there,
yeah.
Laurie, I always ask the loaded questions, Tony.
Yes, you do. But it's a great question. You know what? It all depends. I get inspired from all kinds of things. I get inspired from, things going on in my life, or driving down the road and I see something that inspires me, or I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll have a dream and I'll just jot something down on a notepad that sits by the bed, and we'll work on it the next day. But it all depends. It's just about, I write more Americana stuff, so it's real life experiences. So
right. So
you know how to really answer that without kind of dancing around it. It just kind of comes to me.
Yeah. And so is it usually lyrics first then?
Usually lyrics first.
Okay. All right. And now,
yes,
how did you turn pro? I mean, I'm assuming you went on to college, correct? But how did you start getting paying gigs?
Well, it just kind of evolved. Actually, I ended up meeting a guy named Dave Erasmo, who was the guitar player in our band, the Erasmo band that we toured with in the '90s, and they were looking for a bass player. Their bass player was leaving them, so I just kind of fit the part. I had the long hair and weighed about 120 pounds, and they said this guy will fit in our band, because we were kind of like in the era of the Van Halen kind of party rock and roll original band. So I got my start really professionally playing music in front of live audiences with Dave, Erasmo band. Now,
did the Erasmo band travel all over the country? Were they mostly Florida?
We did. We were mostly Florida, Southeast. We went up to California as well. But we did a lot of shows, from Jacksonville to Key West and Miami and Fort Lauderdale.
And how many songs did you perform with Erasmo?
I want to say at Erasmo we recorded, 3 or 4 original discs.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. But we did all kinds of neat stuff. The CD they're all great songs. They were just we were in that '90s kind of party rock and roll mode of like the Poison and the Van Halen kind of feel. The bad boys of rock and roll is what they used to call us.
Now it's funny. I saw a photograph of you, with the long hair, and now you're so clean cut. It's such a difference in the time frame. What we want to do is we're actually going to play from your Notice to Appear CD the song "Driving Crazy." Okay, that was great, Tony. So I hear some screaming guitars in there, no?
Yeah, that's Mr. Dave Erasmo tearing those fretboards up. That song that brings back some good old memories there, Laurie. Thanks for playing.
Oh, no, you're welcome. Lee, just we were looking at your photo online here, and he said, wow, he looks like David Lee Roth.
Yeah, are you the...
you know what? Back in the day, I sort of did look like David Lee Roth.
So in the photograph of the band here, are you the... I'm assuming Dave's out front because the band's named after him. Is that Dave out front in the photo?
Yeah, Dave. I think that's Warren. I think I've got the long blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dave the big fuzzy hair. Dave was like big crazy fuzzy hair. And then Warren would have been out front. That would have been the lead singer. And then Vic Delatorre was playing drums.
Oh, I got you. Okay. So Dave had dark hair.
Dave had the dark hair. Correct.
It's a black and white photo, so I can't tell you. Standing on some railroad tracks.
He might have been dying it. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, fun photo. You know, it's funny because I didn't know you then. I know you now, and now you're more the you have that appearance of insurance bank. Of a banker and an insurance agent. You've got that very conservative look in your business photos, and then so when you see this from probably 20 or so years ago, it's the total opposite. Let me ask you other questions here regarding traveling. Have you played in other bands other than Erasmo, and other than Sunburn?
Yeah, there was a band back in the time, a band called Triggerfinger. That was a southern rock kind of band that I want to say Billy Rice, J.R. Tomei, and Chris Tomei. There was a little southern rock band that did original stuff as well and country covers. It was good, and I also had the opportunity to play with a couple of really famous musicians, Billy Jones from the Outlaws and Monty Yoho from the Outlaws, and this little country band when those boys were off the road and we were off the road. So it was just I think it was actually called the Country Band.
Yeah,
it was very impromptu. So.
How did you meet them to do that?
We were out touring with Erasmo. We did a lot of opening acts. We opened for a lot of national acts. So there was the Fog Hats and the oh God, who else did we open up? The Cult. We opened up for Molly Hatchet and quite a few times, and that actually happened through meeting Danny Joe Brown from Molly Hatchet. He was the lead singer of the band, and we did a lot of shows with them. And Danny became actually one of my best friends. And, we were a lot of trouble, a lot of fun, and always getting into mischief. We were out on the road. But Danny introduced me to Dave Lubeck and the guys from the Outlaws, and we ended up playing music together for a little while. So.
Now, do you miss that lifestyle? Because I'm sure it was very different than a normal career, so to speak.
You know what, Laurie, to be honest with you, I don't think I remember most of that lifestyle. Honest with you, we were out doing what bad boys do, and that's playing rock and roll and having a good time and going on to the next gig in the next city. So I do miss it. Yes, it was a lot of fun, but a lot of stories there I just forget.
That's all right. Now when you were doing that, when you were with Erasmo, that was your job as a pro musician. Did you have to work other jobs? Because sometimes when I interview musicians, some of them, that's all they've done. They've made a living at it. Did you make a living at it when you were doing it, or did you have to do other things?
When we were touring, I was making a living at it, yes. I mean, when we were out doing those dates, I was making a living at that. But when I settled back in Tampa Bay, I've always worked. I've always been an entrepreneur, and always had entrepreneurial spirit. So I've always worked.
Well, we're
always like making money and.
Yep, and those are going to be my next set of questions. I want to talk about you being an entrepreneur. So we're just going to take a quick commercial break. Stay with us. Back in a moment.
Do you suffer from back, neck, or body pain? Do you suffer from migraines or have jaw or face pain? Has conventional medicine failed you? Were you injured or in an accident? Call chiropractic physician Dr. Dan Maddock at 813-935-1664. Dr. Dan has helped thousands of patients gain relief for more than 30 years. Dr. Dan is caring, gentle, and takes his time with each patient. He's also a past president of the International Craniopathic Society, a special certification of only 300 chiropractors worldwide. certified. Dr. Dan helps patients from the neck up and the neck down. Dr. Dan accepts most insurance plans. Don't continue to live in pain. Call 813-935-1664 today. That's 813-935-1664 and get on track to better health.
Central Payment, your number one credit card merchant service provider in the industry. Providing e-commerce solutions, POS systems, standalone terminals, mobile apps, and much more. Call Central Payments James Carner at 813-777-4332. Looking for the lowest rates in the industry and number one customer service? Call Central Payments James Carner at 813-777-4332. That's James Carner, 813-777-4332.
Consumers, do you have bad credit? Can't purchase a house or car? Paying too much in interest on your credit cards and loans? Scammed by credit repair companies? There is hope. You can get back on track and do it the right way. Call Credit Education Consultants today at 813-500-6064. That's 813-500-6064. Or go to crediteducationconsultants.com now and get the help you need. Don't delay. Call today. Mortgage reps and realtor inquiries are also welcomed.
And welcome back to the world of Laurie Zoock. Got Tony Wagner on this Masters and Legends special. So, Tony, we were talking a little bit about your entrepreneurial spirit. Now, I know you've mentioned to me that, you've had several successful businesses. Why don't you kind of run through them and, tell us a little bit about what you did and how how you made it and what happened to those businesses?
Sure. There's one. There's two in particular I could tell you about. There was one that was 365 Marketing Technologies. I had partnered with a gentleman named Greg Wool out of Tampa, and it was really before. It was an email marketing company. It was all tied to the automotive industry. So we patented a product that would allow you to get your car keys back if you lost them. So it was like a tracking device on your car keys that would contact you via email and a telephony system tied to the dealership. So it was just a marketing platform that dealers could communicate with their customers for different service work. So,
okay, so you're talking.
I don't know if that
yeah, if
or not, but
a little bit. So if I lost my keys, there was something attached so that you could track where the keys were lost, kind of like what like the iPhones and the Galaxies do now.
Yeah. You know what? You're exactly right. So if somebody found your set of car keys, there was a number on the back of this tag. They would dial the phone number. They'd punch in the ID number that was tied to that person's email address from the data entry at the dealership. Somebody would then leave a voice message for the person, and then it would send a voicemail to the dealership and then send an email to the owner of the keys saying your property's been found.
Now, that's pretty interesting. So how did you develop the technology, and what year are we talking about?
That was in 2000. It was probably 2000. I don't know, 2009, 2008. But it was with Greg and a couple other people working there. Deanie Gregory also worked on that project. It just kind of evolved between all three of us.
Okay. And now what ended up happening to that business? Because that sounds pretty handy-dandy. I know plenty of people that lose their car keys and then you go into a panic. Where are they?
Sure. Well, it did well for a while, but the automotive industry it's a very rough industry to break into. And we did great for a while, and then we just ended up I ended up selling my interest in the company. I ended up getting interest in something else. So I just sold out and I'm not sure what happened to the company. I think they're still around.
Okay. And now you mentioned that there was another business also that you started.
Yeah, a company called Digital Blue Dog. It was in Sarasota. And what we did with that company is we had closed-circuit TV monitors, which now are like in the McDonald's, and they show the videos of, a product that they want you to buy while you're in the store. So we would spin advertisements on these TVs remotely for different locations, cancer centers, doctors' offices, gas stations, different restaurants. So it was a digital marketing platform.
Gotcha. Now, what makes you an entrepreneurial personality?
I get excited about putting deals together. I love everything about putting a deal together, and making sure that it succeeds.
Yeah, what I find interesting, just from a psychological standpoint, because I like the entrepreneurial, putting things. I like the coming up with the idea and the initial putting things together. But I find for me, once whatever it is actually running, I kind of like go, okay, it's running, and now I've sort of lost the momentum, so to speak. I'm not as interested in the operations. What about you?
Mm-hmm. It depended on the company. Both of those companies, I liked all aspects of it. Until, I got to where I go, I just didn't feel like doing it anymore, so I just had the other two partners buy me out. So.
Yeah, I mean, because you've been both self-employed and you've worked for companies, but most people can only do one thing, yet you seem to be able to kind of morph into doing, whichever. And I don't think of that's that common a personality trait in most people. They're either I'm working for a company, and companies tend to restrict you to what you can do, versus when you're working for yourself, because there you shoulder all the responsibility of everything that's happening.
And you're absolutely right. And like you had mentioned earlier, I'm an insurance agent, and I've got all my license to do all that in retirement planning. And I had came across my current job. I ended up taking a position with a company called Bank United, based out of Miami, Florida. And the thing that intrigued me about Bank United is they have an entrepreneurial spirit. So I'm a commercial banker, and my job is really to, bring in deposits and loan money. So I actually am out in the field meeting with clients and potential clients every day. So I'm not really married to the branch and having to be in a location. I'm able to go out, cultivate relationships, build relationships, and then bring in business. So it's really that. The reason why I went with Bank United is because they gave me that opportunity to be an entrepreneurial and still get the salary and all the other great things that come with working for a company.
Now, when you left music, did you leave primarily because the 90s rock and roll thing was kind of over and the band dissolved, and you said, hey, now I got to do something else?
Well, you know what? Razzle was like a party rock band, kind of like a Van Halen. We were just a little bit too late. I mean, Nirvana came by, and that was the end of party rock and roll. I told Dave, I go, you know what? I go, I'm going to go ahead and cut my hair, go back to school, and I'm going to go get myself a job. So, but I always played music, so I've always kept it, both. I'm left and right brain. I love everything about numbers and about putting deals together for people and, helping people financially make good sound decisions. But I'm still that rebel rocker. I mean, I love music.
Right.
I just love it.
Always have to have it in your life. Well, you became a licensed insurance agent here in Florida, because we're in Florida, and you specialized in life insurance, health insurance, annuities, Medicare supplements. I mean, this is a big change from, rock and roll musician. What made you decide, out of all the careers available, that you wanted to become an insurance agent at that time?
You know what? I've got a friend of mine, Kerry Palmer, and he actually still is a successful insurance agent, and we were just talking on his boat, which is a yacht. One day I go, all right, I said, I'm done doing 365 marketing technologies. Tell me about this insurance stuff. And he told me about the insurance industry, and I go, you know what? I can do that. So I've been in the Tampa Bay area for around 30 years. I've got an excellent reputation with my clients and people that I've known in the Bay Area. So I went to school. I said, I can do this. I got the education and went for it.
Okay. Now, life insurance is something I find, in my business anyway, most people don't seem to have it. And why is that?
I think a lot of it's not knowing the power and how the life insurance really works and how it can actually benefit you and later on in life, and if something happens to you immediately. I mean, there's life insurance is not just for dying anymore. I mean, there's living benefits. So if you get injured on the job, if something happens to you terminally, there's all kinds of it's a great tool. It's a tax-free tool for you in your retirement years. So I think people just don't have the knowledge of how powerful it is.
It's kind of sad. Recently, actually, I saw it on Facebook. One of my friends, her husband got stung by a bee, and subsequently had an allergic reaction and died, and there was no insurance. And I think that's really sad, especially when there are kids involved, because I'm sure you're familiar with the GoFundMe accounts, and so they're posting.
I am.
Yeah, they're posting a GoFundMe account, and I sit here and I go, if you're married, especially with children, I think if you don't have life insurance, you're setting yourself up for failure. Since we have a little bit of time, I just know I'd like to know for me, what kinds of life insurance are there? I've heard words like term life insurance, whole life insurance. What are the difference? And maybe explain why people should have it, because you don't want to end up on Facebook doing a GoFundMe, and people don't really contribute that much to those, and I think it's sort of, you got to wake people up to it.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Laurie. I would think if you're having young children, somebody young, that's the best time to invest in a life insurance policy for a child, because they got all those years for that interest to compound and build tax-free wealth. So when they get older, they've got all that money to retire on. There's term life insurance. That's just for a certain amount of time. Like, say, maybe you're a young couple and you're buying a home and you are paying a mortgage, and that your kids are growing up, and you want to make sure that if something happens in that time frame from, say, age 6 to 21, the mortgage paid off, that if something happens to you or your significant other, then the bills are taken care of. My favorite one is fixed index universal life insurance. There's companies out there. Allianz is a great company. Life of the Southwest, another phenomenal company. But it's insurance that compounds, that covers you for life, life things that happen to you in life, but also builds you tax-free wealth. So it's actually, it's an asset.
Okay, all right, because I think it's important. People just don't have what they need, and then it's too late. If somebody dies, it's too late. You can't do anything then. All right. So how long have you been licensed as an insurance agent? It's been a long time now.
It's been a while now. I think I'm going on 5 years as the life insurance agency, life health and annuities agent. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I know recently you became a senior banker. Now, I kind of have to laugh because I see the pictures of you with the long blonde hair as the rocker, and now you've got the short brown hair and you've got that conservative look. So it's kind of a switch. So what made you decide that you wanted to kind of move into the direction of banking?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I've got I'm tied. Got great ties to the Tampa Bay area in business relationships and just friendships I've made over the years. It just made sense. It's people trust me. I'm going to steer you in the right direction. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I'm going to make recommendations. Even in the banking industry now, when I go to talk to somebody, I'm not selling anybody anything. I'll present to you what I believe is a good scenario for you, and it's going to be up to you to make that decision if you want to do business with me or not.
Okay, so what kind of do you deal with? Just individuals? Are you dealing with companies? What kind of banking?
Yeah, banking on is we're a commercial bank. We also do personal as well, money market accounts and commercial money market accounts, CDs. But we do commercial lending, lines of credit, refinancing, commercial loans. So we're 100 branches strong here in the state of Florida, and 6, I believe, in Manhattan. But the company's publicly traded, and it's just a good, solid, conservative bank. We really are out for the businessman and the well-being of our customers.
Now, how does your bank stack up? Because it's a smaller bank. How does it stack up against the big guys as far as rates and customer service?
Well, our rates are really good. We've had another rate decrease here on a 15-year, commercial refi for, owner-occupied business for, 3.75 fixed for 15 years. That's a pretty strong product. But we're very competitive in all of our interest rates.
Right. One of the things I've become disillusioned with are, I won't name them because we all know who they are, the big banks that foreclosed on a lot of homeowners over past years. And that kind of put a bad taste in my mouth as far as big banks. Like, I just morally can't give my money to a big bank. I did have a big bank at one time, and probably about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I said, you know what? I boycotted the bank in essence and put my money into a smaller bank because I just felt more confident that, they would take better care of my money and they were not involved with that aspect. So I think that's a negative for the large banks. I think it's a positive for the smaller banks, because most of them are FDIC insured, and you don't have to worry about your money. But I think one of the important things is that you're getting more personal customer service, or at least that's been my experience.
And you're right. I mean, when it boils down to it, I mean, I'm a personal banker. All my customers that I'm doing business with or future customers have my cell phone number. They have my email address. And I tell them, if you have a question or you need something done, call me. If I'm on the phone with another customer, I'll call you back within, a few minutes. But it's about customer service. I mean, it's about people. It really is. That's the way I see it.
Well, I think that's an advantage for smaller companies is they tend to have most of the time tend to have better customer service, whereas the bigger ones, you're on hold forever trying to transfer to the right person, repeating your story 10 times. And I go, how come these big banks, how come they don't listen to what the people are saying? And because of that, they're losing customers. And I know that, customer service is really the number one priority. Now, what kind of qualifications do you need to get into banking world? I mean, is it licensed, in other words, like you were as an insurance agent, or not?
I think there's some licenses that you need to have. I said, but I don't know all of the licenses that you need to have, But, I mean, you have to have a financial education in some way, shape, or form for them to bring you in.
Right. Now, do you have a financial education?
I do not have a financial graduate education. No, I do not. But I've taken many classes that have, educated me on financial structures.
Okay. What's a typical day like for you?
And the working 9 to 5 day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Typical day is actually getting up, checking the emails, and then calling up clients to set up meetings for, appointments, see if I can help them with their banking needs. It's really I'm on the phone, or I'm shooting out emails, or I'm going to see a client. Yep.
So I'm sure you're multitasking throughout the day, correct?
I try to multitask the best that I can. I'm pretty regimented on my daily structure, so I got it mapped out pretty well.
That's good. Now I'm going to guess here that all of your clients from all your different businesses, they're probably not only your clients, but I'm guessing that they're probably your friends as well, correct?
I mean, some of them. I mean, the clients that are not friends become friends. And I deal with quite a few of my friends that are clients as well. But it's got to make sense to do business with me. I'll actually, when I look at somebody's bank portfolio, I'll look at their statements and I'll analyze it. One bank compared to our bank, and if it makes sense, if it makes dollars and cents to do business with me, I want your business. I'm gonna outperform anybody else on the service side.
Okay.
We want to make sure that it makes sense for the client.
Yeah, and I think that's important, again, because a lot of companies just go in and they want to do whatever it takes to take the business away without actually evaluating it. And years ago when I worked in sales, if it looked like it was not going to be better for the customer, then there's really no point. But you have different types of salespeople. You have those that are just money hungry and don't really care about the service they want. They want to make the quick buck, versus the people that are honest and ethical and say, hey, is this going to make sense for you, the client? Is it a good match for our company kind of deal?
Yeah, we at Bank United, we use a consultative approach. I look at everything. Let's put everything on the table. I analyze everything that you have in front of you. What do you want to accomplish? I ask the client, what's your goals? Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? And I'll lay out a mapped, structured plan for them and present it. And actually, like I said, it's up to them if they want to move forward.
All right. And what kind of area do you cover? Are you local to St. Pete, or you cover all of Florida?
You know what? I actually work in the countryside Clearwater branch, but I can work the entire state. So I do business all over the entire state.
I gotcha. Now, I've known you for a couple of years. You seem like you really like people. You're pretty popular. You got a lot of friends on social media. Do you ever find yourself wishing that you had more time for yourself?
You know what? I have a lot of friends on social media, but I got a really close net group of friends. So I really, my weekends are my weekends, and I manage my time pretty well. So, but I like more vacations. Yeah, they're coming though pretty quick.
And what about charities? I think I've seen you support some charities, correct?
I do. There's a gentleman named Gene Evans, excuse me, and he started a company or a charity called Paddleboard Against Cancer. And Gene had gotten cancer 7 years ago and had beaten it. And from that point on, he had started the charity, and we paddleboard every year in May. And we throw this big party at the club on Treasure Island.
Okay.
And raise a lot of money. I think we raised in the upper parts of $60,000 this year.
That's all.
And then all the money goes. Yeah, and all the money, every cent goes to the charity. There's nothing. All the money goes towards the charity and goes to Moffitt.
Excellent. Sounds like a good cause. Well, I want you to stay with us. We're going to do a short commercial break, so don't go anywhere.
Do you suffer from back, neck, or body pain? Do you suffer from migraines or have jaw or face pain? Has conventional medicine failed you? Were you injured or in an accident? Call chiropractic physician Dr. Dan Maddock at 813-935-1664. Dr. Dan has helped thousands of patients gain relief for more than 30 years. Dr. Dan is caring, gentle, and takes his time with each patient. He's also a past president of the International Craniopathic Society, a special certification of only 300 chiropractors worldwide. Dr. Dan helps patients from the neck up and the neck down. Dr. Dan accepts most insurance plans. Don't continue to live in pain. Call 813-935-1664 today. That's 813-935-1664 and get on track to better health.
Central Payment, your number one credit card merchant service provider in the industry. Providing e-commerce solutions, POS systems, standalone terminals, mobile apps, and much more. Call Central Payments James Carner at 813-777-4332. Looking for the lowest rates in the industry and number one customer service? Call Central Payments James Carner at 813-777-4332. That's James Carner, 813-777-4332.
Consumers, do you have bad credit? Can't purchase a house or car? Paying too much in interest on your credit cards and loans? Scammed by credit repair companies? There is hope. You can get back on track and do it the right way. Call Credit Education Consultants today at 813-500-6064. That's 813-500-6064. Or go to crediteducationconsultants.com now and get the help you need. Don't delay. Call today. Mortgage reps and realtor inquiries are also welcomed.
And welcome back to the show. With me is Tony Wagner, and we've been talking about his life as a musician, insurance agent, and a banker. It's been pretty interesting. Now, I know that you're a beach boy because you live out in the Treasure Island area. What kind of water sports are you into? You do everything water?
Yeah, Laurie, I'm a paddleboarder. I love paddleboarding. That's my main water sport, other than boating. So.
Okay. Now, you were talking about left brain, right brain, and you're pretty laid back. You can pretty much morph into any kind of situation. And so most people seem like they're, we talked about, they kind of are stuck on one path. They can't do a lot of things. But you seem to be able to successfully navigate multiple paths. So how are you able to do that without losing a beat? And I ask you that, Tony, only because I'm sort of the same way. I have to switch hats for whatever it calls. And sometimes I do great, and other times I go, oh, my God, how am I going to do all this? So, kind of explain to me, how are you able to do that? Because you're calm.
You know what, Laurie? The number one thing I do is I'm a great listener. When I'm talking to somebody, I'm having a conversation, I really listen to what they're saying. And it makes it easy to focus and figure out, in a banking situation, what are they looking for, which makes it easy to develop a relationship because people want relationships. They can bank anywhere, but I want them to bank with me. So I just really listen really, really well, and then that allows me to build a friendship and a business relationship. And just multitasking, you got to be tactful on your time. So I map out my day, and when I'm done with the work stuff, and then I go on and enjoy playing music or hanging out with my new dog Jackson. Yeah,
and I saw those photos. He's adorable, and I just want to hug him when I see the photos. How do you relax, though? Do you meditate or do yoga? What brings you back to a calm level, maybe after a rough day?
You know what? I start my day out with meditation. I'll meditate for 15, 20 minutes and just kind of focus on my breathing and just relax with no distractions and no noise. I'll just do that for a while, and working out, eating a balanced, healthy diet definitely helps, and getting a lot of rest.
Okay. Now, let's go backwards a little bit to the musician, because, we got on the Masters and Legends, there are a lot of people who listen who they're thinking about, hey, I want to become a musician, especially young people. And one of the things I always ask musicians is what kind of advice would you give to someone that wants to turn professional, either, as a songwriter, a performer, a musician, whatever it is? How would you advise somebody? Because some people they may have the talent, they might not have the connections. What do you do?
You know what? I would just say, if you love playing music and you feel like you're a good songwriter, just write and sing. And if you're a good writer, and you're not a good guitar player, well, then go find somebody that's a good guitar player to teach you, or you can go online and anymore, and you could get lessons. So. I just said, I would just beat up other people that are better at you in a different situation. So, guitar player, someone's better at guitar, I'd go towards them. If someone's better songwriter, I'd go towards them to get information.
All right. What things would you change in your life if you could? If you look backwards, would there be anything that you would change, to be different?
That's a loaded question. Again, you know what? I'd have to say no. I'm pretty happy. I've got I got a great life. I have a family up north. It's phenomenal, and everything is really good.
That's good.
I got a great job, and life is calm and fun and moving forward.
What things are on your bucket list? Tell me about maybe some of the bucket list things you've already done and some of the things that you still want to do.
Well, playing rock and roll as a professional bass player was definitely one of the things that were on my bucket list. I would like to go and do another small tour sometime as a bass player in a rock and roll situation. And I've got a lot of friends that are well connected in that industry that would possibly help me along. So I would like to pick up the bass another time and maybe go do a small tour again. That would be fun.
Okay. And then as far as in non-music, having another career, what advice would you give to young people as far as how to choose a career? Because I think that's tough. If you look back, and I know I'm a little bit older than you, especially for women, back then in the 70s, for example, women were pretty much directed by high school guidance counselors to be teachers or to be secretaries. No one ever came to me and said, hey, you could go out and be a lawyer or a doctor. It just wasn't pushed on women specifically. But, things have changed now over the years, especially with the internet, and kids are much more involved. What kind of advice would you give to someone that would be trying to maybe choose a career or decide what they want to do?
I would just say, I would just do a bunch of reading, educate yourself on whatever you find your passion in, whether it be a lawyer, doctor, CPA, banker, anything you wanted to be. I mean, if you're going to be one of those career choices, go educate yourself on it and be the best that you can be at it. I think it'll all work itself out.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for being with me today. Would you like to give out any of your contact information?
Sure. I can give you my email address and cell phone number, if that's all right.
Sure.
My email address is TonyWagner1@gmail.com. That's TonyWagner, the number 1, @gmail.com. And cell phone is 727-244-2020.
Great. Thanks for joining me today, Tony. And
Laurie, thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome, and we'll see you next week on The World of Laurie Zoock.
Do you suffer from back, neck, or body pain? Do you suffer from migraines or have jaw or face pain? Has conventional medicine failed you? Were you injured or in an accident? Call chiropractic physician Dr. Dan Maddock at 813-935-1664. Dr. Dan has helped thousands of patients gain relief for more than 30 years. Dr. Dan is caring, gentle, and takes his time with each patient. He's also a past president of the International Craniopathic Society, a special certification of only 300 chiropractors worldwide. Dr. Dan helps patients from the neck up and the neck down. Dr. Dan accepts most insurance plans. Don't continue to live in pain. Call 813-935-1664 today. That's 813-935-1664 and get on track to better health.
Central Payment, your number one credit card merchant service provider in the industry. Providing e-commerce solutions, POS systems, standalone terminals, mobile apps, and much more. Call Central Payments James Carner at 813-777-4332. Looking for the lowest rates in the industry and number one customer service? Call Central Payments James Carner at 813-777-4332. That's James Carner, 813-777-4332.
Consumers, do you have bad credit? Can't purchase a house or car? Paying too much in interest on your credit cards and loans? Scammed by credit repair companies? There is hope. You can get back on track and do it the right way. Call Credit Education Consultants today at 813-500-6064. That's 813-500-6064. Or go to crediteducationconsultants.com now and get the help you need. Don't delay. Call today. Mortgage reps and realtor inquiries are also welcomed.
Hi, this is John Austin, host of the Book Club on the Tan Talk Radio Network. I spent 35 years in publishing, and today I want to tell you about a book that could change your life. The book is No Cash, No Problem. The author is Dave Wagner. Dave Wagner is one of the greatest barter experts in the world. He's bartered over $500 million in goods and services. If you want to remodel your home, but the cost is just too high, or maybe there's an automobile that you have dreamed of owning but thought you just couldn't afford, well, this book will allow you to do both of those things, plus hundreds more with little or no cash. Maybe you're a business owner with a cash flow problem that leads to low or non-existing profits. Read this book and see how you can increase your cash flow and your profits by time-proven techniques. The book again is No Cash, No Problem, and you can buy it now online at www.tantalknetwork.com. Click on the book and follow the instructions, or pick up the phone and call Lola at 727-441-3311. The book costs only $6.99, so do yourself a favor and buy the book today.